week, every Sunday, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. We will come up with the new professional, and they will share, they will interact their experience, they will interact with the student. So that's the initiative PSF taken. So this is the second session of the series. And today we have invited Mr. Shafiq Khadri. He is a senior HR in a well-known multinational company, and he will talk about what the recruiters' expectation. And I warm welcome Mr. Shafiq. And Mr. Shafiq, please, over to you.
Thank you, Nadeem bhai. Jazakallah khair. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfect. Thank you. So I was just trying to check my headset. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Shafiq. I'll probably start with a quick intro. And again, I don't want to really waste time on the intro aspect. Nadeem bhai, as said, I'm from the HR background. I'm in Hyderabad. I'm with one of the fastest growing product organization. So today, my objective is to give you slightly a different perspective from the employer side. So what we do is we look at as a job seeker, right? We all have been job seekers. We are job seekers even now, right? But the way we look at employers, the way we look at job market is slightly different when compared to how employers look at job market and job seekers, right? So I thought it will be a good thing to kind of share some insights about what really employers look for. And then what we can do is whenever, if you got any questions, feel free to stop me, unmute yourself. You can ask, put it on chat window. I'll try my best to go through those chats there. I will also make this little interactive. Actually covered the same content, yesterday with a different group. I don't know if you got anyone who's attended my yesterday session. It's going to be the same one, right? So with that, let me start with a question, a general question, right? This is something we often get in our mind, that saying that, okay, what do they really want, right? I got rejected 3 times. I'm not really able to understand, what this company really wants, what this recruiter wants. This interviewer is asking me so many tough questions, right? The interview process is so complicated that I'm not able to really understand what kind of company is this. Why do they really want fresh, only experienced people? These are a few common questions which we keep encountering whenever we seek any job opportunities or whenever we interact with any company or any recruiter, right? So let's start with a simple question. What do really employers want? I want you to just put that one word in the chat window to understand what is your perspective. So here the definition of an employer is a company. Any company who is recruiting right now, who's hiring, or any company who would hire in future or who would have hired in the past. Right? Normally, every company does the hiring aspect. I request, yeah. So quickly just put it on chat window what the employer brackets companies look for in the job seeker. So I'm looking at chat window. Chat window is open for you. A quick one word for this particular question. Put it on chat window. Hope you understand my question. My question is what employers look for. What is your perspective? What is your thought? What is your answer? Whatever comes to your mind, put it on chat window. I want to make it a little interactive, so feel free to put it on chat window. Don't mind whether your answer is right or wrong, right? It's about sharing what's coming in your mind. And I'm not going to really judge you saying that you're right or wrong, but I really want to understand your perspective before I begin the session. So what employers look for? What do they really want? What companies really look for in a job seeker? All right, getting answers. Eligibility for position, good. And eligibility could be qualification, experience, dedication, yes, good answer. Right attitude, we're going to talk about that. Seriousness and positive attitude. Well said. What else? Matching skills, right? What else? Good communication skills. Yes. Problem solving person. Absolutely. Bang on. You're right. What else? Productive. Being productive. Being a productive employee once you join the company. Yes. That's the right answer. What else? Who can understand the pulse of business and deliver? Awesome. Good answer. What else? We got 24 participants. More to come. Sense of ownership. Yes. Stability. Yes. Stability from the tenure in the organization, right? How long will you stay there? Or stability in thoughts and different ways. Sense of ownership, suitable, and workaholic. Okay, good. What else? Experience, yes. Obedient, honest. What else? All right, great answers. All of your answers are absolutely great and correct. Teamwork, yes. We're going to cover all of these answers in detail, right? That's what we're going to really cover in next 45 minutes time. What I just did is whatever you shared an answer, I put it to a structure so that we understand this better. So happy to see that audience is experienced, mature audience. I'm sure the session is going to be exciting for me as well. So let's move on. So I'll start with the first question. It says first and foremost, can you do the job? Is the question which every employer would ask, right? So any organization, whoever is hiring, why do you think they actually hire people? If you see the way organizations are designed, objective of the organization, there are two important things we need to understand. One, the objective of organization is, hello, yeah, just mute yourself, please. And if you got any questions, feel free to ask, unmute and ask. All right. So we are referring to the first question here on this slide. Can you do the job? Now, can you do the job is a question which every recruiter, every interviewer would have this in his mind when he's interviewing you or interviewing any job seeker. Now, if you take a step back and really try to understand why do companies hire and what is the objective of a company to exist, right? If you and me start a company, our objective is simple, right? We want to be profitable. We want to make this company bigger. We want to make sure that this company grows very fast. We want to make this company really helping us earn more revenue, more money, and get fame in the market, right? We want this company to also help people who are working with this company. And these are the different ways you look at from the organization perspective. Similarly, if you look at India industry, it could be IT industry or non-IT industry. Every company wants to thrive. For what? To become successful in their own domain, in their own space. Every company has got their market share. Every company has got their space in their respective industries. For example, if you got a manufacturing company, and if that company is manufacturing, say, garments, right, they would have like 15% share in the market, right? Which means that 15% of garments which are being sold, right, in India would actually come from this company. Similarly, if you got a company like IBM or Microsoft, right? So Microsoft also kind of judge in terms of how his product are being utilized by customers. The customers could be of any type. It could be B2B, business to business, or business to customers, directly customers, right? Like you and me use Microsoft Windows. Similarly, we got many organizations who buy this product and provide it to their employees, right? So the reason why organization exists, in simple terms, we all understand that, is because they want to be successful. And for them to be successful, the important aspect for them is to have right people who can also be successful in the organization. The moment people who join, the employees who are working in that organization, start performing at their potential, right? Start making sure that they are actually doing the best in their own capacities. And once you have all the employees actually performing to the best, obviously the business would grow, right? Similarly, as the business grows, the footprint of the business would grow. They can innovate more. They can actually expand and capture more market share. So finally, who's benefiting? Organization is benefiting. The stakeholders, people who have invested in that company, are benefiting. Similarly, employees who are working there are also benefiting because they are earning more money. They're happy with the company. They're learning a lot of things. They're also growing with the organization, right? No company would want to hire any average talent. So when I say talent, talent means the employees, right? So what they want is they want to really hire the topmost, people who can really perform well. It could be in different ways again. It could be, when they are hiring through campus, they'll make sure that they are hiring the best campuses, people from best campuses. Right? When they are hiring experienced people, they want to make sure that they interview like 1,000 people, even if it requires for them to spend hours and days together. They will do that. But they would not really compromise on any quality of the talent what they hire, quality of candidates they hire. So they are very clear in terms of what they really want. What they want is they want a good talent to be hired for their organization. Right? Now, the moment they have this thought in their mind, the thought would to make this thought successful, the interviewer or the recruiter who's actually interviewing you would have this question in his mind. The first question, which says, can you do the job? Right? So can you do the job is an important question which every recruiter, every person who's interviewing you or me would have that in his mind. Now, this can you do the job has got multiple things in it. It has got the hard skill. It has also got the soft skills, which we'll try to refer and go deeper in the next slide. That's the first topmost question which every recruiter will have, right? The second one is, are you going to be reasonably easy to work? Meaning, if I hire you or if you hire me, right, will I be a good employee? Number one, can I sit right next to him and work? Keep in mind that you're going to spend like what, 6-8 hours in an office. And if you are not surrounded, if you're surrounded by not so good people, then your work experience is going to get impacted. You may not be happy working there just because people who are sitting right next to you are not experienced, just because the people who are sitting right next to you are not respecting you, respecting your thoughts. At the moment you start feeling this, you may not like working that in that company. Then you will start shifting. So the first question is, can you do the job? Second one is, are you going to be reasonably easy to work with? Are you a good team player is the question here. How do you assess this? How does the recruiter assess, and how can we make sure that I'm going to show myself that I'm reasonably easy to work? We'll probably deep dive a little later in the further slides. So I'm seeing a lot of people unmuting themselves. Please stay on mute. If you got any questions, you can ask by unmuting or put it on chat window. So the third question here is, will you be satisfied with the job or will you be looking to leave within 6 months? An important question for every HR and every recruiter, right? If I am hiring you or if you're hiring me, it's important that you're hiring me for a long term. You're not hiring me only to do a 6 month job, because the moment the company hires me or hires you, they actually would put us on training for at least 2 to 3 months time. And by the time you or me, after we join that company, become productive, it takes 6 to 8 months time easily. And if we start looking out immediately after 6 months time, then it's a loss. It's a huge loss for the organization. The organizations are very particular about the 6 months or 1 year tenure. They want someone who can be with a long term, build a career within the organization. Right? The questions what they ask, the questions would be related to this all 8 questions what you see on the slide. The next one is, are you reasonably likable? So when you're working in a team, right, it so happens that you share your thoughts, and when you share your thoughts, there are other people who are actually listening to you. How quick they can understand you, and how likable are you? This is your style of working. This is your thoughts, the way you collaborate, the way you help each other. See, organization is nothing but a group of people. In simple terms, organization is nothing but a group of people who has got a common objective goal to achieve. The common objective goal could be different from organization to organization, team to team within an organization, right? So when organization is a group of people, it's more about working with the people. You may not really worry about the products or outside customers, but you are more worried about people whom you are surrounded with at the workplace, whom you are working with, because that's where you actually learn, right? When you're spending so much of time in a day at work, right, at office, then you would definitely want to work with someone who's really good people. So the question is, reasonably likable connects to a lot of different, areas, in terms of the team player. The next one is, do you see? So I'm trying to mute people who are actually unmuting them. So the next one is, do you seem like you can put up with whatever the negatives of the job are? So when you're working in an organization, right, every day, every hour won't be the same. At times you're so happy that you're able to achieve a project. Suddenly there comes another project which is actually a completely a different thing, and it's creating a lot of pressure on you. You may not be able to achieve that, or you may not be able to stick to the timelines. Your manager actually wants you to kind of close this project and say 1 month time or say a couple of days time. And if you're not able to achieve that within those days, then it becomes a lot more difficult and you get into pressure. Similarly, you come up when you're coding, when you're working in sales, interacting with the customer. Every customer would not buy your product. If it wasn't so easy, then it would have been really easy to really do a sales job, right? So the moment you meet a customer is not accepting your product. And if your entire day goes in just meeting customers who have not bought any product, then it's going to be a tough day for you, right? These are the negatives of the job. And how do you live up to those negatives? What are you doing? How can you really manage those negatives? And really important thing, right? I still see people unmuting and hold on. Okay, I've muted everyone. Sorry. So the question number 5. Do you seem like you can put up with whatever the negatives of the job are? So as I told you, every job has got some negatives and positives, challenges and opportunities. How do you manage the challenge is something which the recruiter or interviewer would look into you by asking different questions. Will you fit in what the company culture is? Every company has got its own way of defining the culture, right? So companies say collaboration is my culture. I am strong on ethics, right? That's what most of the banking sector would say. There are companies who would really, who would really say that my values are, X, Y, Z, which includes, having strong people who are really, living up to their ethics and different things. So the way they define the culture, they also want someone who value the culture, who would really fit into the culture. In fact, companies have gone to a next stage of not really looking at someone who fit the culture. They're also looking at someone who can add on to the culture, who can build the culture there. So the next one is, do you have a strong work ethic? It's an important thing for every one of us to work, right? Whenever we are working, we have to be sincere, obedient, and really follow the process. I think there's nothing but what is right is what we consider to be right, and we work on that right aspect. The last one is, how enthusiastic are you about the job? So enthusiasm, I would relate it to interest and also to passion. This is an important question which every employer would really look into, right? Especially when we go to campus as an HR or recruiter or anyone who goes to campus to hire people, they look at the interest levels. They look at how enthusiastic the individual is, how passionate he or she is, right? So the moment they find that, okay, this is definitely a passionate resource, or has got a lot of interest in our organization, they even would compromise on other skill set. For example, there are two candidates who are applying for the same job, right? Both have got similar qualifications, similar experience. One of them shows more interest and more enthusiasm, right? And compared to the other one, this other candidate who's actually showing more enthusiasm and more interest happens to have one or two areas where he has not really done in the past great when compared to the other candidate. The recruiter would actually pick up this particular candidate because he's actually showing a lot of enthusiasm. He's showing that interest to work for the organization. Organizations don't want people who are not interested to work, who pretend to be interested, but they are not really serious about the roles, right? The seriousness about your career is an important aspect which every interviewer would look for. So I would actually put this question on top, right? The first question after I ask saying that, can you do the job? I would ask, is he really interested to do the job? In simple terms, I might know X skills, but I might be a good mechanic, right? I know how the machines really work. Right? I got really reasonably great experience and great knowledge about the entire machinery, but I might not be really interested to work in that area, right? So if I fit in the first question which says, can you do the job? And as part of this, can you do the job? If the recruiter looks at my credentials, looks at my qualification, right, my experience, he might say that, oh, he's really good in designing or working on any mechanical stuff. But when you actually ask the last question, how interested is he to do this job, the job which is on mechanics, I might actually not be interested. So the moment the organization hires me, and if I happen to join for the sake of just joining, I might not be that productive employee. And what happens is eventually I lose interest, I impact the entire team, and I might actually pollute the team also by showing that I'm not really interested. So that way, organization would suffer the moment they find someone who's not really excited to work in the organization, who's not really enthusiastic to work in the organization, who's not interested to work on any particular technology. So whenever any recruiter hires, these are a few important questions which keeps running in his mind, starting from can you do the job till your work ethic, or it could be about your passion, interest, and your enthusiasm. So you have to really keep this in mind whenever you're applying for a job, whenever you're interviewing, whenever you are going to get interviewed. And whatever answers to give, if you happen to give the answers directly or indirectly and satisfy the recruiter, and if recruiter happens to get all the answers for the questions which are listed on this slide, your interview would be successful. Right? A little deep dive on a couple of questions here in the next slides, next couple of slides. So if you see the first question, right? Can you do the job? Can you do the job? If you really deep dive on that, there are two skills which companies look for. One is the hard skill, the other one is soft skill. So hard skill is something which is teachable abilities or skill set. Skill set basically, it could be your engineering degree or you're an MBA degree, or it could be any certification which you have acquired very recently. It could be on AI, ML, or it could be anything else. And if you've done really a good course in one institute, right? That also is part of your hard skills. And on the right side, what you see is soft skills. Soft skills is more of a personal skills. In general, we call those as interpersonal skills. Right? Interpersonal skills is a pretty broad definition, and it has got a lot of aspects under interpersonal. Couple of them which are listed on the slide are communication, flexibility, leadership, teamwork, and time management. All of these qualities are really important in any individual, irrespective of whether you are a fresher, experienced, or a senior person. What you need is both. In fact, the industry is going to an extent where they're actually looking at more of a soft skills, little lesser on hard skills. Most of the organization would actually prefer a good match, a good balance. If they're hiring you for X position, they would definitely look at your degrees, your certifications, your knowledge on any of those technologies. Similarly, your communication, your flexibility, your leadership, your ability to work in a team, and how you manage your time. Right? This is something, a mix of what any employer, any interviewer would really look into. Right? So whenever we are interacting with a recruiter or whenever we are applying for a position in any organization, if you're going through like 2 to 3 interviews, if we can showcase, if we can convince the recruiter or interviewer saying that, yes, I possess communication skills. Yes, I'm pretty flexible. Yes, I also possess leadership qualities. Right? I'm also a great team player and I manage my time really well. And you also got all those hard skills on your profile, then you are a perfect match. Keep in mind, if you really want to stand out in the X number of candidates who are also attending interview along with you, how can you stand out is purely on the right side. The right side skills, the soft skills is something which will really make you unique, make you preferred candidate for the interviewer. Right? So what we did is we just looked at, can you do the job? Can you do the job has got both hard skills and soft skills. Hard skills is more about your degrees, your certifications, your skills which you have really learned over a period of time. On the right side is more often soft skills, the way you behave, right? The language which you use to communicate, your verbal, written communication skills, your flexibility, and other skills. So keep in mind, those are two important aspects which every organization really look forward to have this in any candidate whom they're interviewing. Further slide, which also shows some additional details about soft skills and hard skills. I've seen people writing in the chat window, right? Problem solving skills and important skills nowadays. Every organization is looking for the skills, right? At the same time, someone who can really, give, who's perfect in storytelling, who can collaborate, who's got curiosity, who can really question the status quo, who can join the organization and say that, oh, whatever you're doing looks good, but can we do it in a better way? Right? The moment you ask this question to the organization would think broader. Oh, let's really try to look at this question. Can we do it better way? Yes, you all as a team work on it to make the process better. And by that, and when you make the process better, what you're doing is you're actually saving money for the organization, saving time, and making it easy for the employees and customers. That's your communication skills and creativity. Creativity is another aspect which is pretty much in demand and nowadays in every organization. They want every employee to be creative. You need not really come up with a unique idea. Even if you're doing a small work, as long as you're creative in that particular area, it is still good enough. Right? So this is the difference between top skill, soft skills and hard skills. Basis the LinkedIn research for 2020, what they looked at by doing a survey with the different organizations of different sizes, they found that the top 5 soft skills are creativity, persuasion, collaboration, adaptability, and emotional intelligence. Similarly, on the hard skills, you got skills like sales, you got skills like marketing, business analysis, UX, blockchain, cloud computing. Only for you to refer what kind of soft skills and hard skills are much in demand, was in demand in 2020, and would continue to be in demand in 2021. Right? So this is how it happens. So let's look at the soft skills aspect further in detail to really understand why the soft skills is really important in any organization. Soft skills is nothing but it's the ability to communicate, interact positively and productively with others. It's not just a language. Soft skill is not just a language which you use to communicate. It is more about how easy are you able to communicate to your fellow colleague? How easy are you able to communicate to your customer or your client? Or how easy are you able to communicate across the globe with anyone? So the moment you say easy, it is about making the conversation more productive. If I'm supposed to kind of, you and me are part of the same team, if we have been asked to solve X problem, right? We cannot just solve this X problem by sitting in corners. You're sitting in one corner, I'm sitting in another corner. Right? We need to chat, we need to discuss, we need to collaborate. The moment we collaborate two people, it's little easier. The moment you collaborate with like 10 people in a team, it becomes little complicated. Now, what you want is you need to be very clear in your communication. Your listening skills also plays a key role here. So the moment you start collaborating and communicating with a team, what you're doing is you're sharing your thoughts, and your final objective of making that meeting discussion successful is to really come out with a solution to the problem which you're solving. And to solve that problem, when you communicate, and if your communication is simple, easy to understand, then it becomes a lot more easier for the entire team to accept your thoughts, accept your ideas, and finally, all thoughts put together to come out with a solution. And this is what the organization wants. This is what the manager would want. Right? In a short time, if you are more productive by solving a problem, what else organization wants? Right? So the soft skill is also develops as we age, and it is required at every level. But again, I'm not referring soft skills to only communication skills. It's about listening. It's about understanding, having empathy, right? Trying to really respect the thoughts there, right? Also thinking from a diverse perspective, sharing thoughts, making sure that your thoughts are kind of more relevant. Finally, the discussion has to be more productive. Right? The soft skills should really help you, team, and the organization to be more productive, and your thoughts should also be positive, which is really helping to solve that issue. So soft skills is really required at every level, not just at a junior level or a fresher or only when you're seeking job. If you want to grow in the organization, along with the organization, you need to develop this. This is part of your soft skills, right? Next one is it may not be really directly taught in the school. There are many schools, who does not really have this as a curriculum, but it's an important skill which is really required. That's where the organizations would always call out saying that there is a long gap between what colleges are providing as a talent, what colleges are teaching those students, and what we want in the employee, what we want in those candidates. Soft skills actually, is a big bridge, and bridge. I wouldn't call it as a bridge, but it is actually a gap now. Right? If IBM or companies like Deloitte want someone who's really strong on soft skills, they don't find it easily in any of those schools. They don't really find this easily in the local market. So what they do is they actually hire people and then train on certain soft skills. Right? And within soft skills, the one which you've seen, the flexibility aspect, there are a few more critical ones which are not taught so easily. If you're not flexible, if you don't really have that open mind, then no company would actually invest on you to keep helping you upskill or to keep helping you grow. Right? So it may not be directly taught in the school. It's something you might have to spend extra time to do it. And it is not tough skill, right? If you spend time, it is a lot more easier to learn. What you need is you just need a dedication. You need to locate certain time to learn the skills. And you need a platform. That platform could be anything. Right? It could be your college, or it could be your small group of people who are all kind of trying to develop the soft skills. So what you do is you sit, do a team activity, you sit, you work on a project. All of this can really happen in a group of people. So next one is it relates to our attitude and outlook in life. Soft skills does not only help in our professional life, it helps a lot in our personal life as well. Right? It depends. So it helps us how we talk to our parents, our family members, our friends. Right? So it is at times difficult to explain, but we easily recognize them. It is also difficult to kind of assess or evaluate or measure. You may not be able to really measure your soft skills. You may on an average say that, okay, I'm average on communication, I'm good, I'm highly flexible. But the moment I say, are you 99% flexible, then you may not be able to really answer it. Whereas the hard skill, it is pretty much on numbers. You have a proof. Oh, this is my certificate, this is what I learned. See, this is my college grades, this is what I've achieved in my college. So that's the difference between the soft skill and hard skill. And a couple of more soft skills which are again in demand along with what we have seen earlier: communication skills, your interest, attitude, teamwork, networking, problem solving, and critical thinking and professionalism. We'll probably deep dive little more on all of this um, in further slides. Um, yeah, so communication, I think you spent some decent time to understand this. So communication is not just about verbal, it is also non-verbal. It also involves listening skills, right? How do you really develop very often, right, within our job seeker group, people who are actually aspiring to become, a programmer or getting into sales or join any organization, often have this thought that, okay, I'm not good at communication. But I've seen many people who actually kind of went ahead. I mean, I've actually what they did is they invested time. They were really committed to improve their communication. They actually did well in a very short time. As long as you're committed and you have a clear cut plan, how do you want to really achieve to become an expert or to be a better communication expert? Then you'll have to spend time. You need to really have a clear plan, and you can do this in multiple ways. This is itself is a longer topic, a broader topic, which we can probably spend time a little later in other sessions, right? So in general, our communication skills, which is one of the important soft skill, it has got interpersonal, public speaking, your telephone etiquette. Nowadays the Zoom has become very common in our interactions. How do you really interact on Zoom, right? How do you really make sure that your presence is felt? Your listening comprehension, all these are part of your verbal, right? Non-verbal, facial expressions, body language, and posture. And why this communication skills is important in an organization, we all understand that this is really important because unless you communicate to your colleagues, unless you communicate to your manager, you may not be able to really share your thoughts. You might have like great number of degrees, you might have like great knowledge, right? But if you are not able to really put it forward and share it with the team, or share it with someone, or share it with even with the recruiter, then it is almost like you don't have it. And I would have spent like 15 years of my education getting this degree. And finally, if I'm not able to really talk about my degree in front of a recruiter, it's almost like not having this degree, right? So that's where the communication plays a very key and vital role in the overall aspect. Similarly, at the workplace, in the organization, when you have to interact with your customers, your clients, you need to talk about what the company is offering. You need to talk something great about the organization so that your customers understand it better. So organization would expect you to be a brand ambassador for that organization, right? You can't be a brand ambassador by just staying mute spectator, by just keeping quiet in all of those meetings, especially when you're in sales, or even if you're not in sales, you need to open up your mouth. You need to really talk about what you're doing, right? The reason why you are there in that meeting is to contribute, not to just keep silent. So that's the role you actually play. And that's also the reason why people who are very strong on hard skills and who are making continuous progress in enhancing their soft skills keep growing in the organization, right? So that's about communication. And second is enthusiasm and attitude. We've spoken this, initially. So if you look at the statement, right, which is highlighted and colored in a different font, a candidate who can demonstrate a positive attitude and eagerness to tackle the job will have an advantage over one who displays an attitude viewed by the employer as negative or disinterested. I gave this example to you. Two people, one who's not really positive, the other one is very positive. Organization would prefer to hire this person who's got positive attitude. Now, how do you really show that positive attitude in an interview? There are different ways you do it, right? If the interviewer is asking you, saying, see, again, the reason why the interviewer is asking you questions is to really gauge all of these aspects, both hard skills and soft skills. So one of the question would be, which could be related to your positive attitude, that he might ask you, saying that, okay, in the past, in your school life, or in your engineering life, or in your master's MBA life, or in your experience, have you gone through a stage, have you gone through an experience where you had a difficult situation to manage, right? And what was the difficult situation, and how did you really come out of it? This could be a general question which every interviewer would ideally ask. I would also ask as an interviewer, or you also would ask it. And the reason why this question is being asked is to check how did you manage to come out? What were your problem solving skills? Right? How did you pursue that problem? What kind of positive or negative attitude you were carrying? Did you give up, saying that, oh, it was a tough situation and you came out of it smartly by giving it to someone else? These are a couple of things, only few things which a recruiter is trying to assess. There are multiple more things which a recruiter would really understand by just asking this general question. So what the way I would answer to convince the recruiter, saying that yes, I'm good on positive attitude, I'm enthusiastic, I've take up challenges positively, is I would say that, oh, in my student life, I was part of a sports club, and as part of the sports club, there were like 10 people who were part of the sports club, and what happened was there were two to three students who were not really showing interest to be part of the club, and they had something else in their mind. They would never come for the meetings. They would never come and show up in different practices. So what I did as a team member is I went and I had a discussion with them to understand what is happening in their life, why they're not really coming and attending those meetings or playing with us, right? And the moment I started asking questions to them, to those two people who are disinterested, they started sharing their thoughts, ideas, and slowly I could build a rapport with them. So once I build a rapport, connect relationship with them, they started coming for those meetings. Simple example, right? It's not really complicated. There are many such events which would have actually happened in your life which you can talk about it. And if you got experience, you will have millions and tons of such examples which you can talk about it. I just gave a small example. Now this example, if you look at the way a recruiter will pursue this example is, number one, he will first try to, the way you explain the problem in a short time, very concise way, he will understand that, oh, this guy is very clear about, explaining the situation. Second, he will try to assess my positive attitude to tackle the problem. Did I run away? I would have actually run away, saying that, oh, I don't want this. I don't want to be part of this sports club. Right? There are better things for me to do. I would have stepped out of that particular problem. I didn't do that. So a recruiter would assess that, okay, this guy has kind of, took this as a challenge. Third, he went ahead. He took some extra initiative to go and talk to people, talk to those two students who were not really showing interest. Right? So what he did is he took initiative and he had that problem solving mindset. So all of this connects to your positive attitude. You actually took that, you had this positive attitude to make that sports club successful, right? The moment you have that in mindset, whatever action you do pretty much aligns to that particular overall goal of that particular sports club. So this is how you actually show your enthusiasm, your attitude, your lot of other aspects by giving an example. So recruiter would ideally ask you questions which would have actually happened in the past in your life, rather than asking what you would do. So what you would do also would be some potential questions, but more often the recruiter would actually ask you, in your past life, have you been through a situation where XYZ happened and how did you react? In your previous education, have you had a chance to work in a team? Right, which we'll talk about teamwork in the next slide. So that's about enthusiasm and attitude. As I told you, enthusiasm connects to your interest levels. Interest levels is really an important valued soft skill nowadays in the market. Even if you don't possess a required skill, if you're not 100% on X skill, if you're just like 80%, basis your interest levels, recruiter would take a chance to hire you, and then they will invest on you to train you. So show that enthusiasm, show that positive attitude during your conversation with the recruiter. Next one is, these are a few examples of how you can really show that enthusiasm along while talking about a few of those examples. Next one is teamwork. So teamwork is really important in any organization. The reason why the teamwork is important is there is an organization goal defined at a CEO level, right? The CEO would define saying that, okay, this is what I want to do in 2021. I want to take this company from X million to Y million dollars. If I have to really achieve this objective of moving the organization from one level to another level, I want the entire organization to get aligned as per my goal. Now, the goal which he or she, the CEO, has decided would actually come down to the rest of the organization. At your level or at my level, when you're working in the organization, we need to define our goals basis what our CEO want to achieve. Right? Now, these goals, whatever I decide to achieve, which I am supposed to work on it, would connect to the team goals. But the moment I don't work on my goal, my team goals will go for a toss. My team goals will get impacted. The entire team will get impacted the moment I don't perform my goals, right? That's the reason why most of the organizations, the moment they find that there is one employee not performing, they would ask that employee to leave. They will put him on performance plan. So teamwork is really important. As part of this teamwork, you're required to collaborate. You're required to build good relationship. And it is also essential for you because you're actually spending so much of time at work, working with different people. And if you happen to not build that relationship with them, then those number of works you work at the workplace will become very tough for you. Right? If you fight with the person right next to you, what happens is you're not only spoiling your relationship, but also kind of impacting the brand name of the organization. Not just the brand name. If you both are supposed to achieve something in common, if both are not aligned, it will impact the team goals. So what organization want you to be is a good teamwork. Work cooperatively. Collaboration is an important aspect. When you share your ideas, the other person should respect your ideas. Similarly, you need to respect the other person's ideas, right? And you have a good listening skills to understand what kind of situation is the other individual who's sitting right next to you is going through. If you're working in team, there are a lot of different things you need to really understand by helping each other. Finally, what you do is you achieve your goals, you also help your team member also achieve. Then you become a good team player. So teamwork is a really important aspect, an important soft skill which any employer would look for. And how do you really prove that you are a good team member and you can be a good team member in any of those teamwork activities is by giving any example, right? An example could be anything starting from your school till your experience. If you can probably talk about your project work, you can just say, if the interviewer might ask you, have you worked in a team of people or team of students in your college, in your engineering life, where you had a chance to kind of work on something very unique and you came up with an innovative idea, right? Then you would start relating it to some experience, or you might actually say this just to help you to understand this better. I'll give you an example. So I might actually say that, oh, during my MBA days, what I did is I used, along with my MBA classmates, we were supposed to work on a project to be submitted to our college administration. What we did is we took up the sales project. As part of the sales project, we want to come up something. We want to make this project very unique. We want to give our customers, the customers whom the organization which we were supporting as part of the project, to come to provide a unique services to their clients. So what we did is, as a group, we used to meet every day, right? First, we collaborated with the group. Within those 4 to 5 members in the project team, we understood each other. We built a very good relationship. We built a very good rapport. Then we started thinking in different lines, started innovating, starting putting all our thoughts on a paper, and then we started thinking which is the best idea to kind of work forward. I'm just throwing you some example for you to understand this better. So the moment you give this example or a better example which you have gone through, the recruiter or interviewer would assume that, okay, you have done this in the past, wherein you worked along with like 3 to 4 people. The moment you worked with 3 to 4 people, how you behave, how did you really achieve, the way you are explaining, this is that recruiter will understand that you would be a good teamwork, you would be good team player, right? So finally, what the organization wants is an employee who can join and be a good team player and achieve the team's objective, right? This is an example of teamwork. The next one is networking. So networking is one of my favorite topic, right? So networking is required at every stage. You could be a fresher working, studying in a college, or it could be you started looking for a job, or even if you join the organization. Unless you don't have a proper right network and a strong network, and you're not really leveraging your network, then you may not really grow in your career. You may not be able to find the job so easily. You may not be able to pass out so easily in your college, or even if you pass out, you may not have a good network. So networking is nothing but it's connecting with people of the same interest and working with the people and taking help of your network, right? So in simple terms, just don't go by what is written here on the slide, but see, as a job seeker, what is important for you is, if you're targeting for X job, you need to really build a network of people who are already working in the job, or at least working in those companies, or at least who have knowledge about those companies or about that role what you're looking for. The moment you build this network, automatically whenever you meet with the network, meet with your friends who's part of your network, you tend to discuss about those companies, you tend to discuss about the job, you tend to discuss about what is happening in the industry, and whatever you learn as part of those discussion is really adding up to your job search. Just imagine you got a friends of say 10 people. All friends are searching for a job, right? And all friends are meeting every day in the evening and sitting and sharing their experience and talking about what happened in the day. And everyone is talking about their experience of the interviews, right? One friend went to an interview with IBM. The other friend went to attend an interview with Deloitte. The other friend was kind of trying to read how the interviews, how to face the interviews, right? And there's another friend who actually met one of his friend who already worked in some X company. So all of these friends are sitting and chit chatting with you and talking about what they learned. This becomes a great source for you. This network is actually helping you for what? Helping you to learn better, right? Get ready for the job better. So you're actually getting a lot of market insights through this network. So it's really important to choose the right friends, wise friends, and choose friends who are of this interest, who are along with you for the job search, right? Who are with you to support you with your learning, to support you with your growth. So not just at job seeker level, even after you join the organization, you would require the net to have a very good network. So once you join the organization, the way it happens is, you work in a team. So you're actually working in a big organizations of what, 5,000, 10,000 people. And this 5, 10,000 people would not sit on the same floor. They might be located into different countries, right? 100 people in US, 100 people in UK. So when you need to do it, when you need to finish your project, you're required to collaborate with people across the globe. So when you start having a good network within the organization, so instead of making everything formal, you connect with them and solve it then and there. Right? The amount of time I would take when I don't have a network within the organization would actually take a little extra when compared to you when you already have a network within the organization who would give a quick solution to you. You just ping one friend whom you know who's working in UK in the same organization and say, "Oh, I'm struggling with this XYZ issue. Can you help me?" He immediately will message you saying that do this, do this, do this. Then what I need to do is, since I don't know this person who can help me, I'll have to reach out first, find out who can help me. Second, after I find out, I'll have to go and reach out to him saying that can I help? Can I take your help? Fourth, he may not be available immediately. He might say that, okay, let's connect after 2 days. I'm busy now. Then I have to wait 2 days to connect with him. And finally, the help what he might offer, he might not really offer the same help what he has offered to you immediately. So having a network will help you grow within the organization. An organization wants you to really network with people within the organization. Organization conducts a lot of networking events. They invite leaders to meet our employees. They invite employees to go and meet also with an external network. So that the moment you start meeting external network, when you're working with company like Cognizant, right? And if you go and attend a networking event wherein you meet people who are also doing the similar job, but working with IBM, working with Deloitte, working with some other consulting organization, when you talk to them, you'll understand how the work is being done in that organizations. You're learning from them. The moment you learn this, you'll come back and you implement it in the workplace. This is what the organization want. Organizations want the best ideas from market to come into the organization. And you become a catalyst. You become an important source to get those best ideas and implement in the organization. So network is an important thing. Very often as a job seeker, what we do is we waste our time chit chatting with everyone, and it does not add any value to us. Define your day, right? So what you need to do is you need to be very choosy about whom you talk. You need to really build a very strong list of friends who would help you achieve what your objective is. Your objective is simple: to just search a job. And to search a job, what you want is you want people who can become a good source of information, who can help you give you information about how the job market is, who can help you giving hints, saying that, oh, यहाँ पे जाओ, ये company में apply करो, this company is hiring big time. They might actually look at your skills. So this information you will miss out if you don't have that kind of network. So keep in mind, as a job seeker, try to build a good network. And we also got a lot of social networking side. Don't waste your time just talking about something not really adding any value. Even if you're on Facebook, search for those people who are working in the technology. Chat with them, talk to them. They may not respond to you immediately, but the moment you send a chat message, they might actually respond to you after 5, 6 times, 10, 15 attempts. It is your job to get the information, right? You need to build a network. So that's about networking. The next one, we also seen this in chat window, problem solving, critical thinking is one of the important aspects. I'll not really deep dive. This is nothing but how creative are you to solve an issue, solve a problem. Organization, when it works in teams, what they most of the time do is they innovate, they also solve the problem of the customers. So what do you think the organizations are actually doing outside? They're actually solving customer problems, right? If there is an X organization, manufacturing company finding it difficult to manage the entire workload on a particular machine, and if machine is not being productive, then they will reach out to consulting or any other organization, or maybe an IT company, and they will say, hey, IT company, can you come and look at my entire process? I'm taking so much of extra time to produce one product. Can you simplify this? So that IT company will come, use its own technology, deploy the technology, reduce the timeline to build a product using that machine, or beautify the machine, make the machine easy to work. So what you're doing is these organizations are solving a customer client problem. Manufacturing company is a client here. And who is solving a problem? The IT company is solving a problem. And who is working on this IT company? On behalf of IT company, it is you and me, right? When we are deployed at the client side, then our job is to kind of go and solve the customer problem. Now, problem solving happens at every stage. It could be a smaller stage, it could be a bigger one, it could be a massive one where you're not alone. You're working along with the team to solve the problem. So problem solving becomes a very critical aspect as for any organization to perform, right? And they want employees to carry that problem solving mindset, right? So here the important skill is you don't run away with the problem. The moment you find this problem coming on your way, as an employee, if you say, oh, this is not my job, let me pass it on, then the organization will struggle. Somewhere this problem will get lost. And after 6 months, you get to know that this because of this problem not being addressed on time, we lost X customer, right? That's a huge impact, if you just ignore on a simple problem. Now, if you actually go beyond your abilities and kind of, help employees solve the problems overall, what you're also doing is you're collaborating. So it's important you have the problem solving mindset. And how do you really show this problem solving mindset in the interview? By giving those examples, right? About how did you solve. Again, it's not about really a problem, right? It could be a tough situation which you manage it really well, right? It could be an example of where you have to submit your project within 1 month at your college, and your project was assigned to you, and you had some personal challenges. You had to attend some marriages, and finally, you had only about a week's time. Then what you did is you actually worked extra hours. You took help of your network, your friends, came up came up with some new ideas, and finally what you did is you actually submitted the project on time. Even this could be a small problem which you can talk about it. So basis this situation, similarly you may have little much better examples than this. So what happens is the moment recruiter hears out this kind of issues and the way you have solved it, he will assure himself that okay, this guy has got problem solving skills also. So this slide talks about in general how you solve the problem. First is identifying, analyzing the problem, right? Generating potential solutions. There are many ways you can actually do it. I would suggest if you want to build a problem solving mindset, understand the ways the problems are solved. Search it on Google. You will find many ways, many I would say many ways which organizations use to solve the critical problems. Okay, this is my last slide. Yeah, we are at time. So what I'll do is probably, I'll just talk about certain important aspects as part of this slide, which you are not supposed to do, and the reasons why most of the people, most of the job seekers are not hired. First and foremost thing is your personal appearance. Now, this personal appearance need not be like, you have a beard, you're not wearing a good branded shirt. No, as long as you're clear, clean, your clothes are very clean, and the way you behave, the way you show up is really good. That's enough, right? The next one is inability to communicate clearly. Your voice is very poor, meaning you're not really, loud enough, clear enough. You're not articulating it well, and your grammar happens to kind of, go on and off, right? This is also another reason why people get, people are not hired. And lack of planning for a career is an important aspect, right? Now, what does this lack of planning for a career means? We often don't know what our purpose is. We don't know what kind of goals are we chasing, right? What we eventually do is we just follow some friends. Okay, my friend has applied for X company, let me also go and apply, right? When the moment you apply, your friend was very clear saying that, oh, I want to apply for only this company, whereas you're just following him. Your friend goes and sits in front of the interviewer. Interviewer will ask him, okay, what is your career objective? He will say, I want to work with this company, man. This is my career objective. This is a great company. I know about this company. This company has done so many great stuff. You guys kind of build this technology. You got offices everywhere. You got X person as a CEO. The CEO has a very, very great history. He has done enough homework, and he's very clear about his career plan. What he wants to achieve is get a job in that company. The moment the interviewer asks him, he is giving all those answers for him. The interviewer is convinced with his answers, with the amount of research he did, with the amount of information he collected about the company. Basis that the interviewer will think that, oh, this guy is very clear. I think he's really aspiring to be part of my organization. Companies like Google, Microsoft, they always look for someone who's very clear about what they want to achieve, who has done a very good research about the organizations. Not just Google, Microsoft, every organization will do it. Whereas you, who's actually following your friend by applying for X company, and if you're being asked this question to you, saying that what is your career objective, you will fumble. You just say, oh, I think I want to pursue masters. Now I'm looking for a job in good MNC. You're not clear, and that's not your career plan, right? What you're saying is you're just generally trying to construct a sentence for the sake of answering that question. No, you need to be very confident when you are sharing the answer. You have to give the same answer as your friend did. And to give the same answer, you need to do research. You need to assess yourself, what you really want to achieve in your life, right? If you're not clear about your career goal, you may not be able to show up as confident person. You will lose on confidence. And finally, what happens is the recruiter, whoever is interviewing you, he will assume that you are not clear about your goal. When you're not clear about what you want to achieve, how will you join the organization and achieve its organization's objective? Simply reject. So you need to really have a clear purpose and goals as a job seeker. You want to be clear which company. You did not actually name like one, two, three, four companies. You may have like X 10 number of companies in your list, but you need to have those 10. Right? If you don't even have 10, and if you're just generally, okay, Jami Milga, go and join, and that's like, you are here at times tomorrow, suddenly someone calls you from Middle East, you're there in Middle East, go there 6 months, come back and say, oh no, I am not liking Middle East, I want a job here. So you're nowhere, you're sitting on fence. You have your lack of planning is actually spoiling your career. So be very clear. Decide what is your goal, what you want to achieve, what you want to become. Even if the job which you are aspiring or job which you're getting is not really aligned with the goal, someday it will get aligned. As long as you know what you want to achieve and if you put it on paper, you are very clear. The confidence automatically gets tripled, right? It multiplies. So that's an important aspect. Lack of enthusiasm and confidence. As I told you, if you don't passionately talk about the technology, if I'm applying for a Java role and if I know everything about Java, but I'm not showing interest, I'm just like dull sitting in front of the interviewer and I'm not really showing those signs where I interviewer can feel that I'm really excited. I'm just sharing, I'm answering every possible question, every question perfectly, giving those technical answers. But finally, the interviewer will still look for something more in me. He will say that, oh, I'm not, this guy is technically strong, but somewhere I don't see that interest in him. I think he's done very great on Java, but he's not passionate about Java. He might be interested on something else. He will reject me. So whatever you are expert in, try to develop that passion, enthusiasm, interest. You show that passion when you're talking to the interviewer. Remember though that 30 minutes of your discussion which you're having with the interviewer should be the best in your life. And to make that best, you have to do a lot of groundwork. You need to prepare, you need to practice, right? Only then you'll be able to show that confidence. Only then you can show that interest. If you just take it for granted, thinking that okay, let me try my luck, your luck will not ever work. There are people who would have actually got the job by luck, who would have not really sustained in the organization for a very long time, right? They could not build their careers. You need to prepare, you need to spend time, you need to plan your day. Very often our days are not planned by us, right? What we eventually do is my day is planned by my friend, and he'll just come to my house, pick me up, and he takes me around. I spend time with him, doing his own work, and finally when I come back at the evening, I don't know what I did. Right? Plan your day, and the day has to be yours. And if you're a job seeker, this is very often I say, your job. If you're a job seeker, job searching, job hunting is a full day job. You need to start your day at 9 o'clock searching for a job, and you need to end your day at 6 o'clock. There are many activities you do as part of your job search. Explore jobs online. Find about companies which are hiring. Prepare a list of companies which you want to target. Know about those companies. Log into the company's website. Companies have spent so much of money to make their presence felt in the market, so that job interviewers can look into their company website and understand what they actually do. So log into those websites, understand what the company does. Log into LinkedIn. LinkedIn has got wealth of information, right? And when you are spending this 9 to 6 hours, 8 to 6 hours, starting from 9 to 6, even if you don't attend the interview during this time, there are many things you can do. Go for any online training. Go and watch those videos on YouTube, which can really help you to prepare for interviews. Right? Do record your voice. Spend 1 hour. This is how I would day. This is how I would actually plan my day if I'm a job seeker. If I've got a job interview in this day, I will go a little early to the job, to the company, half an hour before, be there, be ready, do a proper evaluation, not evaluation, do a proper research about the company a day before, write it down somewhere, and also make sure that all the answers are pretty much aligned in my mind. I know what I need to answer, right? I know what this company does. I know which position I'm applying for. Then I go and appear for the interview. Right? That's a kind of pre-work I do before I go for an interview. Right? I would spend most of my day preparing for that interview. If I'm not applying, not going for an interview, I would start my day with first to plan the entire day. That I would spend 1 hour time only to kind of read, so that my communication skills can improve. Second, record my video. Right? Talk about some topic, so that I can record that and I can see how well I'm doing on my communication aspect. Third, call someone from my network who's already working in that company, get some information about job market. Right? Fourth, I might actually meet a couple of people outside who already went for interviews. Right? Fifth, I might actually connect with someone from PSF network, or attend any of those programs which Nadeem and others are running, right? And try to understand how can that really add value to me. Right? And sixth, I would actually give 1 hour for my personal work. So this is how I would actually plan my day. Even if you achieve 80% of what you have planned, you are bang on, you are on track. Believe me, the job is not no longer so away from you. You are very close to the job. If you don't plan, you never know when you will get a job. And the moment the gap extends, then you need to answer one additional question: what were you actually doing this gap? Right? So to develop an enthusiasm, interest, you need to do research. You need to plan your day. You need to be very clear about what you want to achieve in your career. So other aspect which also where employers kind of feel bad about is the employees who talk ill about their previous companies. Don't do that if you got any experience and if you're applying for any new job. And sometimes you don't really tend to kind of look into interview eye. This is something which I actually picked from one of the slides. I thought I'll quickly call out. The objective of showing this slide was primarily to talk about second, third, and fourth. Right. First is inability to communicate clearly. Second one is lack of planning for a career. Third one is lack of enthusiasm. Right. So with this, I'll pause here. I'm happy to take a couple of questions and then we can close our session in next 5 minutes time. So unmute yourself, ask me any question, or put it on chat window. Any questions? So we got 25 participants here. Okay, let me. Sorry, I gave you access to unmute yourself. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask the question.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Afrin
Yeah.
Sultana.
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead with your question.
Sir, I already got selected through campus in DXC Technology Company, but location came in Bangalore. But due to Corona, it is work from home. I'm doing since July till March. It is work from home, and later my parents told not to go to Bangalore, and I also don't want to leave Hyderabad. So, sir, I'm in search of another job in Hyderabad. So, what can I do, sir? I'm not interested in coding. I can't do coding. But apart from coding, other fields means I can study and I can prepare and I can give interviews, but I'm not getting where to search the job, how to search the job in Hyderabad location.
What is the job you got at DXC Bangalore?
In DXC, my role is Associate Professional Software Engineer.
And you're not interested in software engineering role?
But training, they gave training in full stack development, and later after 2 months they gave training in SAP systems, applications and products basis, and they didn't assign project yet. They told they will assign project.
Yeah. So Afrin, this is my answer to your question, right? I might be actually wrong in my answer. So this is how I would perceive. Now, putting your personal constraints aside, if you're really serious about your career, right, I would suggest when DXC wants you to join in Bangalore, join them in Bangalore, right? Inshallah, you'll get all those things, if you put efforts. Now, the moment you miss the opportunity, what eventually happens is, see, job market in Hyderabad is definitely good. At the same time, much better in Bangalore. The difference between Hyderabad and Bangalore is hardly anything. It's just a location. If you can arrange for your accommodation, go spend an year with that company. The company also has their office in Hyderabad. They might actually transfer you to Hyderabad. But after you join, within 3 months, if you ask for a transfer, they may not give. Try your best. If you decide to leave, before you leave, just have a discussion with your manager. Be honest, saying that, see, I've joined, but current situation is I may not be able to join because I may not be able to relocate to Bangalore because I got my personal constraints. I need to stay with my parents. Then they might actually help you transfer to Hyderabad, which is good. If not, if I were you, I would actually still try to find ways of relocating to Bangalore. Stay there for 1 year, 2 years time, gain that experience. The moment you gain that experience, you will be more valued in the local market. Then you always strive for any opening in Hyderabad. It becomes a lot more easier to find a job here in Hyderabad and you move to Hyderabad. As a fresher, it is a little tough to find a job. But once you gain experience, when you're already working, it becomes a lot more easier to shift to any other company.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Hi. Hi, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Rao, tell me.
My name is Purushottam, and I'm having 14 years of experience in IT. I'm 49 years of age, and I have experience on business analysis. So I've attended some interviews, and my doubt is that age problem will consider for any job consideration?
So if your question is that if you're finding it difficult because of age would not really create any issue for you, right? You should try for any mid-size. Are you working somewhere now, Purushottam?
No, sir. I'm looking for applying for jobs.
Where did you work earlier?
2019.
And what were you doing so far?
Yes.
Were you working somewhere or were you sitting at home after 2019?
Yeah, I'm searching for jobs after 2019.
Okay, so this is my answer to your question. First of all, see, you got experience. Try to search for a job basis what kind of experience you've got, right? It becomes a lot more easier. And don't target always all big companies. There are many good, great mid-sized companies.
Okay.
See, this mid-sized companies, the problem what they find is they don't spend too much money on branding themselves. But the kind of work environment, culture they've got is really great, equal to what other big organization can offer. So the moment you identify those mid-sized companies, they would not look at your age. They would not really care about what you did for the last 1 year sitting at home. What they look at is your interest, your experience, your ability. Right? Whatever we covered in the session is something which they will look at. And it becomes a lot more easier for you to convince them and join that company. The moment you join this mid-sized companies, spend a year, 2 years. And then if you still want to join a bigger organization, then apply. So when you apply when you are already working in a company, and if you start searching, and if you apply for more in a bigger organization, right? Such companies here in Jubilee Hills and Amirpet or even in High Tech City, right? There, you take a list of those companies. The best way to take out the list of companies is search it on Naukri, companies which are hiring. You may find some unique names you would have never heard about those companies. Do a bit of research about that particular company, and when you do a research, when you come to know that this company is doing fairly good, if they have headcount of more than say 100 people, 200 people, then if you find this company happens to be good, if they are not asking you to submit any certificates, if they are assuring you they'll pay salary on time, go and join, right? Join, take that experience, spend 1-2 years time, and then you come out of the market, that company, and join a bigger company.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, hi.
Yeah.
Could you please share the tips like how to start the self introduction and how to interact with the that HR?
Yeah. So one of the important question here is tell me about yourself, right? So this is the first question which everyone would ask. So any question for that matter, not just this one. If you are interacting with the HR, be a very good listener. Right. Second, try to understand the question. Spend time to think about the question. If you're not clear with the question, ask second time. No harm in asking the question second time than giving a wrong answer. So once you understand the question, and also, if you're smart enough, you also should be able to connect that question to the job role, connect the question to what the organization wants to achieve. This question is what we just reviewed in as part of the session, right? Understanding the recruiter mindset is really important as part of the interview process. See, recruiter are not spending time just for the sake of fun. They need to fill the position. They're doing the role same as sales role. They have been asked to fill, say, 100 positions, and to fill those 100 positions, it is not easy for them. They need to meet like 200 people or 300 people. Meeting 200, 300 people is not an easy task. You're not just meeting them, right, over a coffee or something else. You're actually trying to pay attention to everything what you're talking in that interview. The objective of the recruiter or an interviewer is to select you, not to reject. Now it is you how, as a candidate, make it easy for the recruiter to select you. How? By giving the right answers. How? By understanding the recruiter's questions better and giving the right answers. So if you can really think from recruiter perspective and from the organization perspective and construct your answer it becomes a lot more easier for you to give an answer, and the answer what recruiter is looking for.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, one last question, and then we will close the session.
Hi,
Yeah.
I'm Musa.
Yes, Musa, tell me.
Uh, Actually, I want to change my job. So, where is the best way to search job, a new opportunity?
If you're already working, then the best way
Yes.
to search for a job, the next job is to really look at similar type of companies, right? If you're in
Okay.
consulting organizations, right, then there are many consulting organizations where the employees keep moving. There is X number of employees in IBM. After spending 5-10 years time, they'll move to Cognizant, or X number of employees after spending some time in Cognizant, they'll move to IBM. So find out those similar set of companies, and find out from the same team you're working where they have actually joined after they left your team. They would have joined somewhere else, right? Those
Yes.
organizations also would be the potential employers for you. Similarly,
Yes.
if you are also exploring jobs outside Hyderabad, which could be Bangalore or Pune, there could be many more similar kind of companies who might actually give you a better job, right? And search for those companies. So searching a job should be perceived as a project, right? As part of the project, you need to start first shortlisting those companies which you want to appear for, right? Second, after you
Okay.
shortlist, and as part of this shortlisting process, you actually take the insights from LinkedIn, where which companies are hiring and which companies has got the role similar to your profile. Once you list out those companies, you shortlist them, and once you shortlist them based on certain criteria like their brand name, their presence in the market, their tenure in the industry, right, and their basis their hiring trends, basis how well they are doing in terms of their revenue, then you start preparing for the interviews for that particular company. This is the best way to kind of plan your job search.
So, I need to first list out the companies where I need to go.
Right.
Then we will, then I will change. How to reach? I mean, how can I reach to the company HR team
So the
with
best
his
way to
website?
so LinkedIn is the best tool I would suggest. I'm a big fan of LinkedIn. We hire people through LinkedIn, right? So join LinkedIn, build your profile on LinkedIn, connect to the recruiters on LinkedIn, number one. Second, you may not really have direct access to the recruiter. Recruiter would can think you as, see, the way recruiter would consider anyone is either if you are a job seeker, then they would show interest in you. And if they find you to be good for the current role, they would build a connect with you. So it is always good to connect with them on LinkedIn. Whenever you find any opening posted on LinkedIn by their company or on their website, then you can directly message them. Apply online. At the same time, also message the recruiter saying that I've seen X opening on your company's website. I've already applied. I want to still kind of message you and send you my profile. That's the best way. So through your network, if you already have people working in that company, they can help you find the recruiter's contact number. LinkedIn is the second source. Third would be some networking events. When you go out, you tend to kind of meet some people from different backgrounds, right? And you may also kind of meet someone. For example, PSF has got like 200, 300 volunteers who are part of this particular group, right? If you join this group or connected well with this group, through this 200, 300 network, you may find many contact details of many recruiters. Right? There's a different
Yes,
ways
yes.
you can actually connect with the recruiters.
Yeah, exactly. Really thankful to you. You're giving a great suggestions and great ways of searching a job, new opportunity. And I listen all entire your session. It's very helpful me and for my personal skills and soft skills and hard skills. Thank you very much.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much for attending the session. Stay connected with our group. I think we'll plan for more. Sorry. Stay connected with our group. I think we'll plan for more. Sabik sir. God. Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Assalamu alaikum.
Ji, walaikum salam.
Yes, my name is Arshin Sayed. My question is, I'm a computer science student. I'm in my second year, and I can also design responsive websites. So my question is, can I leave my college and join boot camps and get a job with it?
Are you still studying, or are you in the final year, or have you passed out?
I'm still studying. I'm in my second year, but I studied making responsive websites by myself, and I'm now thinking to join boot camps instead of this college. I get so bored in the college, so I'm so much interested in joining boot camps and doing stuff with it, and to get job with my boot camp. So is it good, like leaving my CSE and
No.
get a
Yeah.
boot
See,
camp certificate?
your education is very important for you. Finish your education. As while you doing your education, right? You still got like 2 more years to complete to finish your engineering. My suggestion is, don't leave your education, don't leave your college, don't leave your engineering. Continue. Make sure that you pass out with good percentage. Parallelly, what you can also do is, one is boot camp. The other way of engaging yourself to learn more skills, to explore a lot of other skills, or whatever you learn, you want to put it on practice. There are many, gig kind of roles, the roles where you're not really required to spend all 8 hours. You can work on projects, small projects, like sitting at home, all technical projects. Like, you might actually sit at home and design websites for, customers sitting in different countries, right? There are many ways to kind of, engage by sitting at home and working on the technology. Do that on a regular basis, which will not only help you build your understanding about the technology, but also help you earn money. So find those groups, get attached with those groups, work in small project teams, and gain experience instead of just shifting from college and joining any boot camp or joining any organization. Even if any organization is offering you any role, good salary, you should not leave your education. Your education becomes very critical at a later stage. When you join the organization at a later stage, if the organization comes to know that you're not graduate, they might actually not really help you grow within the organization. See, now the trend is changing. People are compliance companies are not really focusing so much on education, but there are 80 to 90% companies who would still rely on only a graduate. The moment you have a graduation certificate, you get an entry to appear for the job, for the job as a job applicant. Right? If you don't have the degree, then you may not be able to kind of try for many openings. So my suggestion is, continue your education, parallelly work on any of those small projects online, so that you can further upskill and learn the technologies.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Thank you very much for the amazingly precise and useful session. My question is, how can small businesses reduce the attrition rates, and how can they have an effective HR policy in place? Because most SMEs, they don't really have a proper HR policy and they don't follow the HR practices, which leads
Yeah.
to a lot of problems, not only for them but also for their employees. Can you throw more light on this topic, please? Thank you.
Yeah. See, SMEs, difference between SMEs and mid-size and bigger companies is the maturity of their product, maturity of their business. If I'm running a small business, I may not really focus so much on HR policies, because what I'm focusing on is on selling my product. But eventually, if I have to grow my company, I need to focus on all of those things. Right? The moment I have more than 10 people working for any organization, you need to start building your HR practices. One of the important asset any organization has is the employees. Gone are the days where companies used to call out saying that, oh, I got X number of machineries, I got X square feet of factories, I got so many factories, right? That was the earlier trend. From factories to now, the trend is about what quality of employees are working for you. These SMEs need to really focus on great talent, need to hire people who are got a good skill, good knowledge, and good experience. And the organizations, those SMEs, should focus on how to keep them engaged. For that, they need to really develop HR policies. They need not have like 100 policies, right? Whatever policies they have, it could be even 10 or 15, should be really aligned to help keep motivate and engage the employees. It should be in favor of the employees, should help enable employees. Finally, the policies are not to restrict employees, right? It is more to enable and put a process to the organization. So that way, my suggestion is, there are many experts who are available on contract, on consulting basis, who can provide the HR policies and HR consulting job. If not, on yourself, if you are driving that, sit on YouTube or sit on Google, you'll find a lot of HR policies documents which you can try to implement within that SME market.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, this is Abdul Rahman, and I have completed my undergraduate. After my undergraduate, I lost interest on studies, lack of interest in studies. So I joined the BPO sector. I worked in a Kavi, and I'm believing that most of the companies are looking for a graduates. So I have a gap of 2 to 3 years of my completing of my degree. So can I join a open university and complete my degree? And is it good for me? So I can I can go for the better companies, like good companies. Can I apply for that degree which I will complete on open university? Is it eligible?
Yeah. So Abdul Rahman, my suggestion is go for it. Go for open university. There is part-time courses. Make sure that those universities are accredited, are recognized by the government. Join that at the earliest. If you want to join, if there is a batch starting now, go for it, apply for it. That's an important. That should be on top of your priority list, right?
And
so while your education,
And what if the HR ask, why did you not completed your degree in a time, on time?
Yeah.
So
So
what?
these questions, try to be honest. Just say that, oh, so when I finished my, when I was undergraduate, I needed money. I want to start my job because I was more inclined towards a job. So the moment you are honest about what you're saying, one, you will show that confidence. Second, you also got a solution here, right? So what you're doing is you're not saying that you are still not a graduate. You have completed your graduation through your part-time or your through distance. And the
Yes.
reason why you could not finish is because you had you had a different interest areas. So be honest.
Yes.
My suggestion is just say whatever you had, whatever you did during this time and the reason why you could not finish.
Okay, it will be good, right, to complete
It is
graduation from open
highly,
university.
highly recommended to finish your graduation. Graduation is must, and nowadays every company would want a graduation, right? Without graduation, they would not hire anyone. They actually do a background verification also on your graduation. So make sure that you are doing it from the right university, the one which is affiliated or recognized one. Second, if you after you join, if you want to grow within the organization, most of those traditional, if not traditional, companies who still got that old mindset would highly rely on your education qualifications. I've seen a couple of companies where they could not promote just because ex-employee didn't had required education. Things are changing now, but again, let's not wait for things to change, which may take years together. But the need of the hour for you is to grow and to get a right job is the education, and for that education, you should join any open university right away.
Thank you. Thank you for your suggestion.
Yep. All right, so we are at 3:30. I think half an hour more than our designated time. Thank you so much for your time and all the best with your careers. Stay in touch with our PSF team for more such sessions. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.